Hey there everyone, AJ back again for the Mighty Gluestick channel. I make videos about Dungeons & Dragons lore full time and have a huge collection of videos for you to binge watch to your heart's content, as I upload 2 new videos per week with a live stream each week as well. If you like what I do, please consider becoming a member of the channel by clicking the join button down below, or backing me on Subscribestar or Patreon, where you can get access to all the scripts I write for these vids, if you prefer to read what I'm saying. I also have a Discord server with an active community, and of course, subscribe to the channel. Particularly if you're on a smartphone, go ahead, take that extra step, hit the subscribe button, please, do me a favour. On the world of Krynn, there are no halflings. Well, there is a race which closely resembles them in many ways, but the Kender of the Dragonlance campaign setting are not hobbits. Those of you who are familiar with me know that I often refer to myself as a dire hobbit because I fit most of the requirements of being a hobbit, but am unfortunately over 6 feet tall and built like a brick shithouse, as they say in the southern hemisphere. Kender are of a similar youthful appearance as hobbits, or hin as they're called in the Forgotten Realms, but they are taller and leaner, and they habitually wear shoes over their much more human-looking feet. Outside of the Dragonlance world lore in the real world, one of the future authors of Dragonlance, Mr. Tracy Hickman, ran a D&D game in which a member of the group, Mr. Harold Johnson, was playing an actual halfling thief named Elmar Tan. And later, when Mr. Hickman started a new campaign in a new setting on the world of Krynn, Mr. Johnson took his old character Elmar Tan with him. However, according to the annotated chronicles of the Dragonlance setting, when Hickman, Johnson and others moved to the Dragonlance setting for their games, it soon became clear to those involved that halflings were unsuitable for the Dragonlance world. And it really comes down to the fact that Elmar Tan owned a ring of invisibility, and well, it was just all too similar to another hobbit and a magical ring of invisibility. You know the one? So Hickman let Johnson reinvent his beloved character as a new race on the world of Krynn. Thus Johnson developed both the initial concept of the Kender and the first representative of that race, Tasselhoff Barefoot. To solidify the distinction, they were originally described as thinner, more wiry and more cunning and streetwise, basically feral halflings. And Tasselhoff became public knowledge in a short story by Roger E. Moore for Dragon magazine early in 1984. And everything we know about Kender would have been thanks to Johnson and Moore, but for the involvement of Janet Pack, who breathed life into the Kender in a series of dramatic readings of the work done by Hickman, and thanks to both her and Hickman, the extremely important traits of plucky, somewhat naive cuteness and a tendency to kleptomania and curiosity were cemented into the race forever. If you ever want to blame anyone, I would say blame Janet Pack and Tracy Hickman. The origin of the Kender within the game lore is shrouded in a bit of mystery. You can take your pick. In the Dragons of Summer Flame, the Urda, an ancient race on Krynn that kind of parallel the Fomorians in Forgotten Realms. In Krynn's case, Urda are the original highly beautiful race that is the original form of the ogres. Anyway, they state that the Kender descend from the gnomes. I have to go into a bit of Dragonlance cosmology here, so this will be our first introduction to the Dragonlance world on my channel actually. The Grey Gem of Gargath is an artifact that contains the essence of the being of chaos. Reorx, the creator god, supreme god of the Krynn dwarves, also revered by gnomes and Kender, created the stone to contain only a small part of the god of chaos, but accidentally captured all of him in the gem. Reorx then placed the Grey Gem into the red moon of neutrality named Lunatari. The common story is that the gnomes took the Grey Gem to power a great machine they had made from Reorx's designs. The gem escaped them, however, and the chaos within changed the world and the things in it, giving rise to all manner of monsters and wonders. The gnomes chased the Grey Gem east from the larger continent of Taladus until they reached the most well-known continent named Ansalon. There, Gargath, a powerful ancient wizard, trapped the Grey Gem between 2 godstones and set it in a tower. Later, 2 groups of gnomes, one seeking the Grey Gem for wealth and the other wanting to study it, attempted to capture the Grey Gem from Gargath, and it transformed them. Those seeking wealth were turned into dwarves, and those seeking it out of curiosity were turned into the Kender. There are other versions of this mythology, but all seem to involve some original form of mutation caused by a powerful magical stone of chaos. Kender are not halflings, nor are they elves, gnomes or dwarves, and they certainly are not humans. They average about 4 feet tall or less and are fine-boned and not prone to putting on weight like halflings. They have pointed, very elven looking ears. They obtain a wizened appearance as they grow older due to fine network of lines that appear on their faces around the age of 40. Their facial features are far more elfin than a halfling, with an impish expression. Basically, they have a sarcastic resting face, always seeming to be amused or on the verge of mocking something, and they tend to have a wide vocal range, enabling older individuals to perform impressive sound imitations. Having your own voice perfectly lampooned by a Kender can be quite an experience, and if you happen to not have the ability to share a laugh at your own expense, it can be weaponized against the Kender's enemies, which we'll talk about in just a minute. In addition, they are typically depicted as rambling and speaking very quickly when excited, which can make them difficult to understand, and they're not above using this fast-talking ability to their own advantage, particularly when bartering. They are somewhat wild and childlike, with an insatiable curiosity and a seeming imperviousness to fear. Finally, they are described as having a distinctive top knot incorporated into their hairstyles. It's a cultural thing, which is a source of pride, as they have lustrous and fast-growing hair, very fine. And Kender are as varied in skin and hair tones as humans are. Kender mature as fast as humans at the early stages of life. They sort of stay in a very youthful appearance until they hit their mid-40s, and they never grow any facial hair unless they resort to magic to do so, and age slowly until they reach the typical maximum lifespan of 100 years, but they'll be spry, nimble and dexterous up until the very last days. Their childlike qualities is why they're called Kender, which is derived from the German word for children, Kinder. Tracy Hickman has said he was uncomfortable with the idea of a whole race of thieves, but developed a tendency towards a sort of unintentional kleptomania in the Kender, who actually find deliberately thieving something to be morally objectionable and take offence at being called a cut purse or similar, just, automatically by people. They don't like that bigotry. Most Kender show a lack of interest in monetary gain. They like creature comforts, of course, and know the value of money, but they don't lust after it in quite the same way humans and dwarves do. Kender certainly love a prank and a good game of wits, which you may be involved in whether you know it or not. When making a verbal contract with Kender, be particularly wary of the way that they can twist words and absolute disregard for any consequences at the end result if it's going to end up being hilarious. You can unfortunately count on Kender to mock clumsy and oafish individuals, no matter how violent and brutal they happen to be. The Kender just can't help themselves. You'll have to gag them to keep a snort of laughter down at the very least. When free to fully indulge in their talent for mockery, they absolutely roast anyone who is capable of understanding them, and can do a pretty fair job at making any animal with a bit of intelligence mad as hell at them as well. They are infamous for it, and the more haughty, serious and self-important the individual, the more vulnerable they are to the Kender's acidic wits and keen observations that cut their target to the bone. It is largely thanks to the Kender being so acutely curious and observant about the world around them, as well as loving to provoke a funny reaction, and yes, homicidal rage directed at them is pretty damn hilarious to the nimble and quick-footed Kender. Chances are the first time anyone meets a Kender, they are running fast away from something or other and laughing about it. This talent tends to quietly amuse the elves, frustrate the humans, and irritate the hell out of dwarves, but if a dwarf counts the Kender as a friend, and the target of a Kender's vicious mockery actually manages to catch them and seriously harm them, the rage of a dwarf avenging harm to their little brother or sister is a violent and merciless force of nature. Dexterity and speed are strong points in Kender. They have a wide range of special weapons that they craft to take advantage of their cultural skill, with weapons, slings, darts, rocks, skipping stones, sharpened yo-yos, pole slings, throwing stars, and the combat discus, which are all pretty wicked in their hands. They also favour spears, javelins and quarterstaves, and prefer light weapons over anything bulky and heavy. A halfling can hit a person in the eye with a flung gold coin from across a crowded tavern and absolutely blitz a human in a game of darts, which all comes down to faster nerve conductivity. Scientifically speaking, having faster nerve conductivity means that signals travel faster from the brain to their muscles and sensory organs. This gives them lightning fast reactions and the ability to move and make more micro adjustments as they move, which translates into more grace and accuracy. So they love games that involve hand-eye coordination and make wonderful bards, though spellcasting is not a cultural strong point of the Kender, and wizards of their race are very rare but not unheard of. Kender are fearless. They don't feel fear. They do feel worry for others, and it's their true concern for their friends that can provoke as close as they can feel to understanding what fear is. They also don't see death as the end of life, rather a passage to a new adventure, so they don't tend to mourn the passing of a loved one as long as other races. Kender are irrepressible, though they can get angry. For example, if you cut off the top knot and leave them with an unsightly mullet of hair, they will most likely beat the shit out of you. They are also not always happy-go-lucky. They can be quite grim, acidic, and vicious. Like all intelligent player character races, they have a full range of different personality types, and you can have Kender villains as well as heroes. Kender names are chosen from a wide range of sources such as recent events or an existing relative, or from items found in Kender pouches such as bear chase, lockpick, and fruit throw. As children, they constantly ask questions, very active minds, very curious and engaged, and come to rely on family friends for all of their needs, and they begin to take part in community activities. As they age, Kender children gain education by hearing stories, desiring to acquire new skills, observing skills, and partaking and participating in crafts and trades next to adults, and of course playing games. They also begin handling more complex crafts and tasks. This leans more and more towards travel and wandering. As Kender reach the adolescent and teenage years, they become more active participants in Kender moots, which are social gatherings where the youth can show off their newfound skills in games and demonstrations. As they near adulthood, Kender experience intense wanderlust and always leave home. Kender communities accept this is just what their people do, and they expect young adults to leave the community one day, possibly never to return. Most Kender spend their entire adult lives wandering around the world. Most of the population of Kryn has been exposed to the adult variety of Kender, and most have been on the receiving end of a Kender's roasting sarcasm, so they don't get the same sort of ready acceptance that halflings of faerun get. This video was requested by Bright Glory. If you have a particular creature you would like me to talk about, feel free to always let me know in the comments. I try to interact with as many people as I can and am always happy to help my fellow D&D fans out. Please hit the like button if you made it this far, subscribe if you like what I do, check out my Subscribestar or Patreon links for all the full scripts for these videos, buy some Teespring merchandise, wear your geek with pride, and as always, thanks for listening, and I'll be back with more for you very soon.